Okay, so, ho. Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh no, hold on.
It's my Christmas oyster treat. Oysters, they've got lots of history, you know, rich man, poor man food type thing. So I've gone with oysters as part of an opulent Christmas. In the East End, only poor people used to eat them. I think the story goes, it was actually steak. Steak and ale pie was that was the business to eat, steak and ale pie. And where steak and oyster pie came from was the ones that couldn't afford the steak used to bump their pie up with oysters. Game of Thrones, which I shouldn't be mentioning, but Game of Thrones, she's selling, I don't know what her name is, but she's selling oysters all the time. There's one character that is on the streets. It was the original street food.
Did they always eat them raw too?
Yo, that's natural? Yeah. Always, but obviously they say they're raw, but you know, you put some stuff on them and then they start cooking and you start milking all the rest of it. So, but I don't know, actually, the cooked oyster, although the French, they cook everything. There's classic cooked oyster dishes that when I was a kid cooking. We used to do oysters and bacon and beurre, so there's lots of twists on it. And obviously in the southern states, again, they cook everything. They probably eat the shells as well, knowing Americans. But anyway, so what we're going to do, we have oysters natura, which are going to be oysters more or less straight up. I don't see the point, especially in the UK at the moment. We've got natives that are in season, so no point in spoiling those at all, apart from when I put batter on them and make a batter using the juice from the oysters. And we're going to deep fry those and serve those with a dip. Okay, so native oysters. When there's an R in the month, there's native. When there's no R, no native. Very, very simple way to remember. So I'll show you again. There's the hinge, obviously front of the oyster, hinge. And some people shuck from the front. I don't know how. I always go in on the hinge, in with the point of the oyster knife. And there is a little hole in there, and then you just twist. And that's it. Opens up. Scrape top of the shell. Comes loose, the muscle just there, stick your knife in, underneath it, dislodge it, and obviously if you want to eat that straight away, as is, then that's what you do. When you open an oyster, the average person should be able to say, I'm happy to eat that, or I'm not. You know, and from that this far, very, very important that you keep it as moist as possible. Obviously we're using the juices from it to make the sauce today, so. There's lots of bits and bobs as well that drop in, which is always fun. Shell, seaweed. Well, just eat them, it'll be fine. You won't die straight away. The Colchester oysters are renowned for their oysters. I think the oyster beds they get them from are passed down from generations, hundreds of years old. Quick shallot dressing. It's a big shallot, it's called a banana shallot for obvious reasons. Yeah, just cut down it one way and then cut across the other way. So vertical, horizontal, then finally dice. Sharpen the knife, you don't cut yourself. You only cut yourself with blunt knives. And you keep your hands as close to the knife as possible because you can't cut yourself. So I've been told many times, you only chop shallots or onions once because they then bleed and taste completely different. In there now is just that oyster liquid. Use a little bit of lime juice. Sometimes I use sometimes you can use champagne. Again, it'd be a really nice touch for this time of year. But I'm just going to go straight on that. Just orange and lime. I mean, it's really, really simple. I think, it's not a case of trying to master flavours or something. So nice, fresh and seasonal. All right, so that's good to go.
Okay, let's do it.
I love the Kostas on our apron.
It's amazing.
Well, we're gonna do a Bloody Mary here. I love twisting this cocktail as well. I make it with tequila, bourbon and vodka. Kind of complements the seafood, so these citrusy, spicy notes.
I've done my best. I've racked my brains. rack my brain.
Bit of Tabasco.
Done my best.
Bait. That's a bait for me. I can feel already that it's spicy. Didn't even try it yet.
I've done my best. I've racked my brain. Done my best.
That is delicious. I feel like my face is going red.
Not yet. But trust me, Will, after a few sips.
Never cools.
I'm gonna go.
For the fried oysters, I'm just going to sit them on a little bed of avocado in their shells and try to make a little sauce type thing. This is like an avocado mayonnaise, really, really nice. Almost like a neutral background flavour in it. Quick is the name of the game, yeah? In front of me, I've got some oysters pre-shucked, which I'm just going to batter. Just going to get those, tip them in. So they drain off a touch. Obviously, they've been shelled earlier on. They'll all drain off. And then from that liquor, I'll then make some of the batter and I'll use some for some of the dressing. My favourite actually is opening oysters and dropping them into a white wine sauce, then serving them immediately. They are absolutely beautiful. But what I've got in here, I've got some flour, a few eggs, and obviously when you're making a batter, flour, make a well, eggs in the middle, and then you stir from the middle, and then the inside fall into your into your middle. All right. So as that starts to thicken, I'm going to add some of the oyster liquor to it. And it's not that strong actually with these oysters. It's normally a lot saltier, but it's really, really nice. And the idea is to make it like a drop-in consistency, like when you make scones at home. You know, the ones that you make all the time. And obviously with making the batter this way, you don't get any lumps or too many anymore. Got a little bit of ginger in there. It depends on your crowd. You could like put soy sauce in the base. You could put chili in the base again. You could do, there's so many twists on it now. And so I've got fryer, deep fat fryer. You normally flour them, but I'm not going to flour them because I think the batter's strong enough. Okay, so oyster in, lightly coated, and then a fryer, which I've got on reasonably low. Blanch them like this, hold them, drop them in, boom, 2 secs, done. Incoming, sir, incoming. Yeah, don't try to swallow these ones, yeah?
Oh, very good.
Is there more?
These are amazing.
Where do they have oysters for Christmas normally?
Everywhere, don't they?
Do they?
Do they?
I feel like just deep frying food is a good idea.
It's true.
It just tastes good.
I'm with you. Anything battered is really gonna have my vote.
Yeah, me too. Although I do like the natural.
The natural is nice too.
You know,
It was different.
They're both.
I don't think I've ever had it natural, actually.
Really?
What am I talking about now?
Oh no.
I got nothing.
Something fell.
That didn't even pop. Look.
I think this
Doesn't
is
even pop. I think mine.